Hello friends, welcome back. You are joining with me for Ancillary Physics 3 and we are discussing about the magnetic effects of current carrying conductors. We are discussing some applications in this direction and today we are going to see two topics. One is moving coil galvanometer, the theory, and current and voltage sensitiveness using moving coil galvanometer theory. Then we will see the theory of ballistic galvanometer. Come on. The D.R. Snowball moving coil galvanometer. Simply, it is said to be mirror galvanometer. Mirror galvanometer. What is the principle? What is the principle of this instrument? The principle is it is based on the torque acting on the current carrying coil when it is placed on a magnetic field. The basic principle is torque acting on a current carrying coil placed in the magnetic field. When you place a current carrying coil in a magnetic field, that coil experiences a torque, right? And this is the basic principle for the moving coil galvanometer. It is the instrument used to measure the current flowing into it. It is an instrument for measuring current of low values, not very high values of current. We can able to measure the current of small values, say for in the range of microampere to milliampere. Fine. Construction of this galvanometer. How to construct this galvanometer? This galvanometer consisting of two terminals, right? Terminal 1 and it is connected to a torsion head. It is connection to a torsion head and this is the torsional wire and there is a mirror, then a coil. A coil, then a spring, another end is attached to terminal T2. Okay, and here this is placed in an magnetic, permanent magnet. It's permanent magnet in South Pole, North Pole and South Pole, right? So this is the basic setup of a moving coil galvanometer. It is called torsion head. Okay, this is called torsion head, and this is torsional wire string, and it is made up of phosphor and bronze. Phosphor and bronze wire, it's, you can say strip, you can say, yeah, wire is the operative word if you are talking about the torsion. And here this coil, it is the rectangular coil. So this part is the rectangular coil, is the rectangular coil. This coil is made up of copper. Coil is made up of copper. And so let me again repeat how the setup looks like. Actually, so initially, essentially this contains a coil, right? It contains a coil, rectangular coil. It is wounded like this. It is wounded like this, and this coil is wounded over a aluminum frame. Aluminum frame. Essentially, it is a conducting frame. Essentially, it is a conducting frame, right? And in the middle, there is a circular iron core is placed. In the middle, there is a circular iron core. Iron core is placed. And there's two points, starting point, and there is an ending point. This point, right? This setup is placed here. This is actually placed here, right? And here you see this setup is connected to a torsion. Torsion is a kind of wire which is made up of phosphor and bronze. And torsional wire has a characteristic features. Two important characteristic features of a torsional wire is you cannot stretch. It is assumed that this wire is non-stretchable. If you pull down vertically, the length would not change. The point number one. Then point number two is it is twistable. You can twist. If you rotate at one end by fixing the other end, it will rotate. If you apply torque, it is twistable and it is non-extendable. That is the torsional wire, and such torsional wire is connected here, and it is conducting wire, and this is connected to a mirror. This is a small mirror. It is a small reflecting mirror. It is a reflection mirror. And then there is a wire background, a mirror is pasted here, then the wire end is connected with the rectangular moving coil, and other end is connected to a spring. The spring is also made up of phosphor bronze wire, and the other end of the spring is connected to terminal T2. Here in this core is wounded over an conducting frame like aluminum, and it's a frame, and the middle is hollow, and in the middle there is an circular iron core is placed, and the entire setup is placed in the strong permanent magnet, between the strong permanent magnet, so that it will be applied with the magnetic field. So this is the setup. Now if you want to apply current through this coil, you have to apply current by connecting wires between the terminals T1 and T2. If you apply current, then this current will pass through torsion head, this phosphor bronze wire, then moving coil, then spring, then T2, and the cycle will be closed. Now the wire, through the wire current will be passing through that. Now that conducting wire experiences a magnetic field, and this magnetic field will create a torque, right? Now assume that N is the number of windings in the coil. N is the number of windings. L is the length of the rectangular coil. B is the breadth of the coil. Breadth of the coil. So you can define, and B is the magnetic induction experienced by this current carrying rectangular coil, and let A is the area of the coil. So with this we can write the expression for tau that we have discussed in the previous video itself, which is nothing but N times, and let I be the current passing through the wire. I be the current passing through the wire, so that it becomes N I B A. This is the expression for torque that we have already discussed. And due to this torque, for a given current, there is a torque which twists this wire, torsional wire. There exists twist. Okay. If you switch on the current, there exists a twist. And if you switch off it, if you switch off the wire, then this twist will restore, right? In the wire, because of this torque, there exists a couple, right? This couple will create a twist. There is a right couple per twist we can write. Now, because of this torque, this wire is twisted. Let theta be the angular deflection. Let theta be the angular deflection created by the flow of the steady current. Okay, and then this torque developed in the wire. This is the expression for the torque experienced by the moving coil galvanometer, and it twisted this wire. Because of that, there is a twisting couple created, and this couple will twisted this wire, right? Because of that, this wire experiences, the torsional wire experiences, it is twisted, no? So it is twisted, so the wire also twisted, one end is fixed, so that we can write the expression for torque for the given angular deflection. This you can write C times theta, where theta is the angular deflection created by the steady flow of the current through this rectangular wire. And what is C? C is the twisting couple per unit twist, right? C is the twisting couple per unit twist. C is the twisting couple per unit twist, right? Now, this is the torque, forward torque, the torque that creates the forward twist. Once the current is removed, then this torque has an restoring torque, right? Whenever if you apply torque to an elastic material, this is an elastic material, so that it will having a restoring torque, so that it will slowly comes to the equilibrium position, the rest position. So that this torque, the torque created by the flow of current in the presence of magnetic field, which is equal to the torque created in the wire. This is the torque on the moving coil, and this is the torque on the wire. Both will be equal. Okay, so this both torque will be equal, so that the left hand side is equal, so that NIBA, which is equal to C theta. What we need to calculate? We need to calculate the current flowing through it, that is unknown. So that you have to rewrite this equation for I, which is equal to C theta by NBA, which you can write C by NBA into theta. Here C is the twisting couple per unit twist is the property of the wire that we have chosen. In our case, we have chosen the pass per bronze wire. So there is a constant value for a twisting couple per unit twist for this material, which is C, so that C is constant. And what about NBA? All the terms are constant. A is the area of the rectangular coil, that is also constant. B is the magnetic field, permanent magnet is used, so that magnetic field exerted between this rectangular coil is constant. And N is the number of coils wounded in this rectangular frame, so that is also be fixed, so that these all terms C divided by N, B, A all are fixed. So you can write, in that situation you can write the current I is proportional to, you can write a constant theta, or you can write I is proportional to theta. K is the constant, which is denoted by galvanometer constant or current reduction factor. K is galvanometer constant, or it is said to be current reduction factor. Okay, so from this we infer that if the current flow is maximum, the angular deflection in the in this wire is maximum. If the current flow is minimum, that angular deflection will be minimum. But how will you be measure it, right? How much angular deflection it gets, that how will you be measure it, right? It tells that the current and the angular deflection has the direct proportionality. If there is a maximum angular deflection, then it is inferred that the current flowing into is maximum. There is a small theta, then the current is small. By substituting the values of C, N, B, A, we can able to calculate the value of the current. Fine, but how would you calculate that angle of deflection? For that purpose, here there will be a scale, right? There will be a scale placed in parallel with this in front of this. There will be a scale in front of this mirror. Okay, and assume that this is a scale. The scale is a transparent scale. Assume that it's like it's made up of glass, and the readings are noted in the glass. Then that is placed here, and in front of that, a point light source is placed, right? So that here this is a mirror, and there is a scale, and there is a light source. Okay, now like this. Here this is light source, this is mirror, sorry, this is scale and mirror, but it's transparent actually. Like, let's have one like this. Assume that, yeah, it's a broken tempered glass, but let it be. Assume that here the readings are noted. Okay, now I pass the light through it. What will happen? This light will pass through this, and it will hit on the mirror, and it will be reflected back. If it is straight, what will happen? And I am passing the light through it, it will give you one particular reading, right? Now if you are applying current, what will happen? This mirror will slowly twist it. What will happen? Now the angle of incident light will not be returned back in the same direction. It will be returned to a deflected direction. Now, so that initially it goes through one value. Now it will be, and it comes through the same value, right? The light goes through and it reflected back at the same point. But now what will happen? The light goes through one point and it will be reflected at another point. So that it will show you another point in the scale. The light deflection, the spot will be observed in some other point, right? Now from this distance we can able to calculate. Okay, like you see here, this is a mirror. Now this is a scale. Okay, when this is the light, it's a light source. It is mirror, transparent mirror, not mirror, transparent scale. Transparent scale, this is light source. This is light source. So that light passes through and reflects back. If the mirror faces, the mirror is normal to the line of the light source. If it is exactly normal to the line of the light source, it will be reflected back. If it is placed perpendicular. But if it is perpendicular but twisted a little, what will happen? This light source will not return back, rather return like this. So that we can measure this distance, right? From this we can able to calculate this angle theta. Okay, if you know this distance, you could able to calculate the theta by using appropriate mathematical formula. That theta is applied here, and from that we can able to calculate the current flowing into this. But remember, you cannot measure the higher value of current, because the coil, it's a copper coil. It's a mild wire, very small thickness wire. So that with this instrument we can measure the current of very feeble intensity, that is in the microampere level to milliampere level. So this is the theory behind the T. Arnoldt moving coil galvanometer, or simply it is said to be mirror galvanometer. Okay, it is used to measure the unknown current flowing through an coil which is placed in the magnetic field. We can measure the current sensitiveness, voltage sensitiveness of a moving coil galvanometer. Okay, so the next topic is current and voltage sensitivities. Current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity. Okay, actually the current sensitivity, it is said to be figure of merit. It is also said to be figure of merit. What does it mean? Actually, is the current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer is, it is nothing but the current required to produce a deflection of 1 millimeter on a scale kept at a distance 1 meter from the mirror. So that is the figure of merit or the current sensitivity. The current required to produce a deflection of 1 millimeter on a scale. That in the transparent scale, we want to produce 1 millimeter when the scale is placed 1 meter away from the mirror. For that purpose, what is the current required? That is said to be figure of merit. It is expressed in microampere per millimeter. Okay, and it is also this is to be current sensitiveness S, current C. Similarly, you can say voltage sensitiveness. Voltage sensitiveness, it is denoted by SV. Sensitivity S and voltage means V. Here also you can write the potential difference in the place of current. You can put the potential difference required to produce a deflection of 1 millimeter on a scale kept at a distance of 1 meter from the mirror. That is it. Potential difference that is required. Okay, fine. And it is denoted by microvolt per millimeter. This is the unit. Fine. So in order to calculate this purpose, the experimental setup used can be drawn like this. This is the experiment that served for this purpose. So this is the experimental setup with moving coil galvanometer used to serve this purpose, that is calculate the current sensitivity and the voltage sensitivity. Fine. What is the theory behind that? You see here there is a lead accumulator. It's essentially a battery connected through a key and resistance boxes P and Q. These things are connected in series. Then to the resistance P, there is a resistance box R is connected and commutator is connected, and two poles of the commutator moving coil galvanometer is connected, and in another pole the wire is connected to the other end of the P. So between P this setup is connected. Okay. Now in order to calculate the voltage sensitivity, we apply very small resistance at P and very high resistance at Q. For example, here 1 ohm at P, 999 ohm at Q. Then in the resistance box R we set 0 resistance, right? In that case we can write the expression for voltage sensitivity SV, which is equal to EP by P plus Q multiplied by theta into 10 power 6. Right, simply volt per meter you can write, volt per meter. So what would happen if you apply 1 ohms here, 999 ohms here, and if you close the key and if you turn the commutator, then the moving coil galvanometer will show a deflection, right? That deflection is theta, and that we can measure, and you can substitute in this equation, you will get the voltage sensitiveness. Okay, suppose, and now what you have to do is you have to increase the value R, the resistance box value R, in such a way that this, as the steady current passing through it, the deflection is steady, so that if you increase the resistance, this deflection will slowly come back, and you find the resistance when theta becomes theta by 2, half, theta becomes half of it, right? In that case, what does it mean? This resistance is equal to the resistance of the moving coil galvanometer, and that situation we can write the current sensitiveness as EP by P plus Q Rg times theta, now ampere per meter, and this is the ampere per meter, this is the current sensitiveness. So this experiment will be repeated for different values of P. Okay, now we have, in the beginning we have chosen this is 1 ohm, and you can increase this as 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 4 ohm, or 10 ohm, 15 ohm, 20 ohm, like that, provided always by fixing P plus Q is equal to constant. By setting P plus Q is constant, and so you can find the deflection angle and half of the deflection angle. You can make the tabulation. Applying this into the equation, you will find the current sensitiveness and voltage sensitiveness of the moving coil galvanometer. It is a simple experiment. It's the application of the moving coil galvanometer. So with this, let me stop here, and we will discuss the ballistic galvanometer in the next lecture. So there is a small difference, a characteristic difference between moving coil galvanometer and a ballistic galvanometer, and we will see the theory of the ballistic galvanometer, and we will see some examples associated to that. So with this, let me stop here. See you tomorrow. Thank you.